Ryan Brock here, your host of the DigiMarCon podcast, and we're coming at you live bright and early, morning of day 2 here at DigiMarCon Mid-Atlantic, and I had to kind of just thrust him onto the show to get him for a few minutes, but I am very honored to be joined by our MC for this entire conference, Martin Weinberg. He's the founder of Market Genesis, and he is someone that you're going to want to hear from. So, Martin, thank you for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for inviting me. This is great.
Yeah, so how's the MCing gig going for you out there? It's a long day, a lot of information, lots of really great speakers. How does the room feel for you?
No, it's fun. So this is the third time I've emceed DigiMarCon, and I got to say the attendees this year are very engaged, even more so than last year. I think with all the change that's gone on, all the cards have been thrown up in the air. We're all post-COVID. Social platforms are changing. Digital landscape is changing. AI. Everybody's really ready to learn and understand what's next. And I think as a marketing community, we're really all learning together, right? We're running a series of thousands of experiments. All of us, who are both, agency side, brand side, and trying things in the great laboratory and figuring out what works.
Yeah, this feels like I guess digital marketing in particular has always felt like this to me, where there's just you have to come together because there isn't one giant big rule book that everyone follows. We're all figuring it out together. But this year does feel like really accelerated in the way that things are just changing and going everywhere. What are the trends that you've noticed? You just mentioned a few of them, but amongst the various speakers yesterday, what are the topics that get the audience the most, leaning forward and interested in what's going on?
It was kind of interesting. It's kind of obvious now, right? With everything going on with AI. And I had to smile a little bit when some of the speakers said, just want to let you know, I am not going to talk about AI. And somehow
you might be talking about me there, actually.
Yeah, and a few others as well.
Yeah, that's funny.
And it got a smile from everybody because I think, it's a lot of information, and everybody is convinced, we have to be cognizant, but yet we still have to show up every day, Tuesday at 9:37, and say, what are we going to do? How are we going to get eyeballs, on our brand and inspire them to move into action? So I think what was also apparent was that a lot of attendees were very engaged with the fundamentals, right? I mean, obviously we have to stay ahead of what's going on, otherwise we all become dinosaurs very quickly. We don't want to be the people in the past who said, "Oh, yellow pages," et cetera. They'll be the modern equivalent of that for sure. But how do we use these tools to really engage our audience?
Yeah, I mean that's something. This is my fourth DigiMarCon of the year, and that's something that I've picked up on as well. That we have to talk about this stuff. But I would say that what I was hearing about AI at my first DigiMarCon of this year is already different from what people are talking about today. That's how fast it's moving. So, getting more in touch with how do I have a vision that I can then bring to life, maybe with AI's help. That's a little bit more difficult to get into, and I think it's it's a challenge that a lot of people are really interested in. So you're also going to be on a panel today, is that right? Tell me about the panel.
I am. So we're going to talk about digital marketing trends and really just have a great conversation, kind of like we're having here, but with a few more folks on stage, and give a chance for the audience to ask some questions.
Okay. Can you give us a preview of what some of those trends are that you're going to be talking about?
We're going to hit all the major bases, right? AI, social, email, strategy, so forth, and conversation will ensue. I think, just the opportunity for everyone to tune in to a conversation amongst professional marketers, hear some of the back and forth, some of the engagement, really kind of like we're doing now. It's always a lively session. I love it. It's my favorite.
Interesting. Yeah, that's really cool. So email and social, you mentioned those two things. Those are the things that I feel like I'm hearing the least about right now because everything is about AI and everything is about content more broadly, I suppose. Do you have any tidbits, nuggets? Can you get us up to speed on what's the latest going on in social right now? Because that's something that I have not talked about on this podcast at all in the last 2 months that I've been doing it.
I think it's incumbent upon every marketer to move with where the eyeballs are. We want to be where the people are, like the Little Mermaid, right? So it's a matter of of being native to the platform. I mean, it's all the Gary Vee stuff, right? I mean, it's
Hmm.
hard to talk about social without, really quoting him, but understanding what are the new creative units, where do these social platforms want us to try and experiment, because that's where we have the opportunity to over-index, and to understand really what our brand voice is and be authentic out there and not just put out, stock. It used to be like, don't put out stock photos. Now it's a question of like, well, should we put out AI generated, content? Is it going to be generic or is it going to be relevant? It all depends on the creativity of the user, right? I think once people get comfortable with new tools and new creative units as they come around, I think the good creative ideas will start to come to the fore, and we'll start to see some really interesting things.
That's cool to hear. Last year, I was fortunate to attend the B2B forum, the Marketing Profs event in Boston,
Mhm.
and Anne Handley has been a hero of mine for many, many years. So I got to get an autograph from her and all that. But she gave a keynote presentation in which her whole point was for 2024. Her advice was be weird, like just get weird and embrace like what makes you unique and different from everybody else. And I think that that's really, really salient and really in line with what you just said. What about email? What are you seeing on the email front? Like, are people behavior changing around the just the volume of content that people are able to create now? I mean, what's the big shift that's happening in email?
Oh, I love email. I've been involved with email marketing pretty much since there was email marketing,
Hmm.
pre HTML.
Wow.
So definitely OG.
Yeah.
And look, everybody thought email was going to go away, right? When
Hmm.
social came out, like, no, no, why would it hit the inbox? All these social platforms did was generate more emails. Why? Because they're sitting there and they're waiting for us to come back there. And they're like, how do we get people back? Oh, let's take the best stuff and pump it out over email. And you know what? It works, right? Because we look at it as kind of curating it for us. So we pay attention to that. So the principles of relevancy always matters. What's the definition of spam? An email that you didn't want to receive.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, it's being of service. It's thinking about that poor person receiving the email and like, are they going to find value in this, and just be willing to be authentic and maybe be a little weird and try some things, and it still works. I mean, none of us are getting away from email, so it's a channel. Just
Yeah.
of course, respect privacy, respect permission, et cetera, et cetera. Um, but still a lot of great opportunities.
Yeah, very cool. So tell me more about Market Genesis. Our booths are right there next to each other, but I want to give you the floor here to tell us about like if people are interested in learning more about you, learning more about what you do. Where can they find you, and just share a little bit about how you do business and what the driving idea behind Market Genesis is.
Well, as a fellow marketer, I appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah.
All right. So, Market Genesis, first of all, you can find us at marketgenesis.com. Yes, I was not going to start an agency if I couldn't get the .com domain. That's just me.
Fair enough.
And we are a B2B marketing agency. We work with small growing B2B companies and we help them grow, whether it's web, social, email, video, or strategy. We work with an integrated team along with your team to really get under the hood, understand who your brand is, and help you connect with your audience and inspire them to take action. And we love what we do, and we really love our clients, and we're always on the forefront of what's happening next. And it's just great to be here and meet all the folks.
Awesome. Well, Martin, thanks for joining me. It's it's already 9:32, but to me it feels like it's bright and early here at the conference. So we'll have a lot more action going on throughout the day. So stay tuned. Make sure to keep an eye on the social channels, and we'll be back with more guests later on. Martin, thanks
All
again
right.
for joining
Thank
me.
you.